What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Ladies and gentlemen, please let somebody tell me exactly what is going on with Mr. President. What is going on with our president? Exactly how is he doing you? What is this? You see, this is how you get yourself in trouble. You are calling Mr. President a ghost worker. The day they will come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. As I was saying, Mr. President, in case you're watching, yeah, you know, I don't agree with us going abroad for treatment. I think it's a national disgrace that our president has to go abroad for treatment. I've said this too many times, and I don't even know how to say it again. That's exactly when will Nigeria have good hospitals of international standard? This is a country of almost 200 million people. It is a national disgrace that the most populated African country, the giant of Africa, that our president still has to go abroad for treatment. Don't you get it? That it's not done elsewhere. It's like we didn't learn from what happened with Yaradua or Stella Obasanjo. We're hurting ourselves. We're doing more damage by not building good hospitals of international standard in our country and by not developing our health sector. In fact, there are some Nigerians that will argue that we don't have a functioning healthcare system. And I'm not just talking about having the buildings, but it's about what's inside. It's about the quality of treatment that people can get inside. Do we have the necessary gadgets? Do we have the necessary equipment? Even gloves. I've heard about medical personnel stealing gloves and going to sell it outside. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I wish Buhari quick recovery, but it's important for him to carry us along about his health. And speaking of national disgrace, did you guys hear that workers at the Nigerian embassy in Washington, D.C. decided to go on a strike? You see? Kia, the ambassador came out to do damage control. You know, he started telling the media there is no strike, the embassy is functioning, they are addressing the matter with utmost urgency, this, that. In fact, he was trying to paint it as if these are just enemies of progress that are trying to disgrace Nigeria. He said, well, these people wanted people to know that they were not paid and now the world has known. As if it is their fault that they cried out to the world. You see, Nigerian government hates embarrassment. What I don't know is why they had to wait for people to go on strike. Why do we like to disgrace ourselves? I've never heard of any other African embassy going on strike. I mean, South African embassy, Zambian embassy, Ugandan embassy, Kenya, even Zimbabwean embassy. I've never heard of them going on strike. And America is not like Nigeria. We pay bills here every single month. You have to pay your rent every month. You need to pay your car loan, your phone bill. If not, they will repossess your car. They will cut off your phone if you don't pay your phone bill. You will get kicked out if you don't pay your rent. And I know that it's not just the workers at the Washington, D.C. office. You need to pay all your workers worldwide. If you don't want all countries talking about Nigerian embassies on strike. Don't forget the ones in New York as well, and the ones in Atlanta, and the ones in UK, or every part of the world. And speaking of Nigerian embassies, a Nigerian in Malaysia who asked to remain anonymous sent me these pictures of Nigerian embassy in Malaysia. When I saw these pictures, I was like, wow. Apparently the television you are seeing doesn't work. It's just there for decoration. And not only that, this is the only toilet that they have for visitors, for guests. It's just one toilet, so people have to line up outside the toilet. It's the same toilet for men and women, and I mean, just imagine, this is how our toilet looks. Can you imagine? So not only do they need to pay salaries, but they need to renovate so many of our embassies around the world. It's a disgrace. It's you guys, you like to disgrace me too much. And speaking of not paying people, Monday was May Day in Nigeria, Workers' Day, but this year's May Day was different. Ladies and gentlemen, the workers booed the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, just as he was giving his speech. The meaning of Ole. It means Steve. Tell him, I beg you, tell him. Can you guys believe what the minister said?
What has happened is like some people who are ignorant or some people who are not really workers have infiltrated this arena and they started causing some problem.
Ha! Father! You see these people, eh? So some people who are not workers, they infiltrated the place. So they are the ones causing trouble. Hey, Mr. Ngige, seriously, you're welcome to this. Are you serious? Really serious with that statement, Mayoga? Do you not know that people have not been paid in several months and that some people have not been paid in a whole year? Nigerian officials tire me. I wish they would just be a human being for once, just for once, and agree that you failed the people and take responsibility and stop being so full of yourselves. I beg. By the way, didn't Lai Mohammed say that recession will end, as in end by the end of June? No, baby, no, don't lie. Haba, what What is your problem? Now, you are watching too much television. Why must you always call the man a liar? The only thing is, me, I was thinking that if recession will be over by next month, that at least by now we should have seen some signs in the price of Gari and Ekpa. Get out! So last week, Nigerian Vice President called Dino Melaye a comedian.
Nobody is as funny as Nigerians. We even have a member of the National Assembly who recently launched a CD. Who hasn't heard of Ajekui Yanyoje?
I put up my photo with them. By now you should have. No, do I need to? You know, welcome my guy. You know that is a diplomatic yapping right there. I know what you did right there. It's okay, it's okay. You're not the only one that thinks so. And speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, move closer. So last week we had our share of jollof war in Nigeria. You know, that was because Richard Quest of CNN came to Nigeria and he was asking everybody about who has the best jollof rice. I mean, is it Nigerians? Is it Ghanaians? What's up, my Ghanaian people? Don't worry, it's okay. You need to taste my jollof and then you ask no more questions. Unfortunately for us in Nigeria, Fata. Can you guys believe the man decided to ask the Nigerian Minister of Information?
Which country makes the best jollof rice?
I want to say probably Senegal.
Hey! Mogbe.
Which country makes the best jollof rice?
Senegal.
Jesus is Lord.
What did you say?
Senegal. Weapon number.
Babalai Muhammad, I know that everybody has their idea of who owns the best jollof rice, you know. I mean, you guys should have seen the war on my Facebook page. By the way, if you are not following me on Facebook, I don't understand. And if you are not following me on Instagram, I mean, I'm taking all these photos on Instagram just because of you guys. So this was one of the photos that I posted. It's okay. You guys can follow me on Instagram. And and Twitter. Why are you not following me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Anyway, so I uploaded this video on my Facebook page. Come and see the word. All my people from Gambia, they said they own the best jollof. The people from Senegal, as a matter of fact, they said it's a word that came from Wolof, which is a tribe in Senegal. And of course, my Ghanaian people think that they own the best jollof.
Ghana jollof, yummy. Ghana jollof, yummy. Ghana jollof, yummy. Nigerian jollof.
Of course, everybody believes that they make the best jollof. But how can the Nigerian Minister of Information, I mean, in front of the whole world, I mean, just
Senegal.
This man is to move to Senegal. No, my Senegalese people, we dash you. We dash you like Muhammad. He should just go and work for them in Senegal. However, if you say that you are representing Nigeria, then you cannot be disgracing us like that. Even if we don't make the best jollof, your job is to say that we do, not that we don't. You guys know that Nigerians make the best jollof. No offense, my Senegalese people. You guys are really trying. I've had Senegalese jollof before.
And by the way, we all know that Nigerian jollof rice is the best.
Thank you, Jade, Mr. Vice President. You guys know our Vice President is a pastor. He's a man of God, so you don't expect him to lie. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. You think they will still let me visit Gambia and Senegal after this episode? Yeah, okay, never mind. Moving on to Kenya. While Nigerian workers are begging for increase in minimum wage, President Uhuru Kenyata of Kenya just raised the minimum wage by 18%. Yeah, 18%. I'm telling you, it's time to move to Kenya. And he made the announcement on Labor Day. And you know, on our own Labor Day, our minister was telling us stories. Oh, by the way, some Kenyans are saying that this is just a campaign for his re-election. Remember that they have an election coming up in August of this year. Me, I don't know if this is about the election. All I know is that the man increased the minimum wage by 18% and he also increased the non-taxable bonuses. President Kenyata's new labor reforms also include a mobile labor law application that will offer access to the laws online and on mobile phones. Meanwhile, the president said new labor reforms would make his administration attract more domestic and foreign investors and create more jobs. The Secretary General of the Central Organization of Trade Unions said that due to the high cost of living, though, that the minimum wage increase should have been by 22%. And during Kenyata's presidency, the Kenyan economy has experienced a 5 to 6% growth every year. On August 8th, in the upcoming election, the president will be going up against Raila Odinga of the main opposition coalition. You guys not know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Ethiopia, the Prime Minister was embarrassed last month. So let me tell you what happened. Tampere University of Technology in Finland announced that they would award the Prime Minister with an honorary doctorate degree. That is Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn. And as soon as the story broke, Ethiopians in Finland began a campaign. They were addressing the school. They were like, since when do you honor dictators? Don't you know about what's happening in Ethiopia? 6 months state of emergency extended by another 4 months, 10 months of state of emergency. Don't you know that they've been picking people anyhow in Ethiopia, putting them in prison without trials, labeling all activists as terrorists, and you want to honor this very same person that is part of the regime that terrorizes its own people and has killed thousands of people. So the Ethiopian community in Finland wrote a letter to the university stating why the Prime Minister did not deserve such an award. So of course the school got the message and they decided to be diplomatic about it. They withdrew the award, but they didn't say that it is because people protested, even though we know that's why. They decided to say that it's because the Prime Minister would not be able to attend the commencement in May, and people were like, whatever the excuse, we don't care. All I know is the Prime Minister is no longer getting an award. By the way, this same Prime Minister holds a master's degree in sanitation engineering from this same school, Tampere University. Now, many Ethiopians are hoping that this will remind him of the democracy that he enjoyed in Finland when he was living there as a student, because Finland cannot be compared to what is happening in Ethiopia right now. So I love the Ethiopian community in Finland. I love what they've done. They even forced the university to remove their award announcement from their website. Meanwhile, people are still in the state of emergency in Ethiopia. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. And moving on to Somalia, you know, this is one of those stories that are just heartbreaking. You know, the youngest minister that Somalia has ever had was shot last week. He was shot dead. I'm talking about 31-year-old Abbas Abdullahi Sheikh Siraj. He was the Minister of Public Works and Reconstruction. Siraj was shot by the bodyguards of another government official. It's just ridiculous. He was driving when they shot him. This doesn't even make sense at all. We're still trying to get details, but all we know is that Siraj is gone. But you guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. And moving on to South Sudan, a spokesman for Doctors Without Borders has said that new fighting in the town of Kodok in South Sudan has left 25,000 people displaced. According to reports, just one day after a UN official warned of a government offensive in the town of Kodok, fresh fighting began in Kodok. Some reports have stated that the offensive by the South Sudan People's Liberation Army and the Aglewek forces had caused disarray among rebel leader Johnson Oloni and his forces. Civilians have been fleeing to the nearby town of Aburok in order to escape the fighting, and there's also a shortage of water and a reduction of humanitarian services for the displaced since the fighting began. Now, the head of the UN mission in South Sudan says that there's a possibility that 70,000 civilians could be displaced. 70,000. He also said that there's no place in the country that is immune to conflict because there hasn't been a concerted effort by any party to adhere to a ceasefire. Millions of people have already been displaced. A lot of people have run to neighboring countries. In the meantime, we'll keep bringing you updates about what is happening in South Sudan. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. And my shout out this week goes to 18-year-old Nigerian high school student Olawunmi Akinlemibola, who has been accepted into 14 colleges, 14, including Harvard University, Princeton, and Stanford. She has a 4.15 GPA and she has already earned college credit. This lady was born in Nigeria, but she lives in Maryland here in the US. Olawunmi has already decided that she will be going to Stanford because she says that's her choice for now and that she plans on studying biology. And of course, because she has already won scholarship, she will only be paying $300 per year. So we're so proud of you. Thank you so much for making us proud. You guys don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.
Growing up in Kenya, my sister and I were very close. But like any sisters, we fought a lot. She always got new clothes and I always got hand-me-downs. Now she's putting her children through school in Kenya. We still fight sometimes, especially when I send money for the kids. I tell her, buy some clothes for the younger one, and we both laugh.
With nearly 500,000 locations, our app and online, this is moving money for better.
Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out!